Alright guys, in this video we are going to talk about how to be the most interesting person in the room. There is a way to do it, and I'll show you. Let's get into it. Number one in this incredibly important list here, if you want to be the most interesting and charming person in the room, or in any room that you conquer, yeah, and I say conquer, is do not play it safe. Don't play it safe. Boring people are safe. Boring people like to maintain the peace and not wreak any ruckus or havoc. But unfortunately, by doing this, you create a really bland and flavorless taste in the other person's mouth. And unfortunately, you become forgettable. Boring people generally are forgettable. You know, talks about the weather and small talk. No one cares. It's boring. The second point we're going to make here is have a strong opinion. Be polarizing. Hear me out here. It's better for somebody to strongly disagree with you or strongly agree with you than nothing at all. It's better to have ignited something in somebody, a fury of emotions, than absolutely nothing at all. I'm just saying, the goal is ultimately to be remembered. That's how you'll be memorable, is to be remembered. And of course, you cannot please everybody, but just note that the people that you will please, at least you can respect yourself enough to have said that you've earned their respect by being the most authentic you that you can be, honey. You have to be true to yourself. So don't back down on your opinions, stay strong and be polarizing. You'll start to realize you'll gain a lot more fulfilling people in your life by doing so as well. So a very key important point on this one. So remember, keep in mind, it's not about being liked. It's about being remembered. Think about that, especially to the women out there who love to be agreeable. It's not about being liked. It's about being remembered. So keep that in mind. You can't please everyone. But the moment you start to think about that and let that seep into yourself and you start blending in with everybody else, that's the moment that you punch yourself in the face and lose respect from everyone. Big time. Number 3 is incredibly important, and it'll take time, but you'll realize the importance of it in due time, is educating yourself. Educate yourself, because interesting people are interested people. Read a book, look up literature, learn a language, watch podcasts, take in the news, something. Vitalize this mind, fill it with something that fills you, because in doing so, you will sharpen that dull knife that you have, and whenever anybody serves up a plate or a new dish to you, you'll be able to penetrate it and dig in. And they too will equally take in all the desserts that you have to give to them along the way. That beautiful back and forth correspondence with two intellectual people or more is food for both soul and mind. It is the ultimate aphrodisiac. So educate yourselves, people. Do not fall victim to being the quiet person in the room when an intelligent conversation is happening before you. It'll show that you cannot hold form and ultimately will lead you to be the forgettable person. Just saying, input is important, so sharpen that knife. I always really love this one quote by Socrates who said, "Intelligent people learn from everything and everyone. Average people learn from their experiences. And stupid people, well, they think they have all the answers, don't they?" Number 4, the last but final piece to this puzzle is, of course, do not lie. Don't lie. The more lies that you fabricate into your stories, the more holes are needing to be filled, which ultimately will become obvious. You went from looking like a shiny apple to now looking like a moldy sponge, and you expect people to still see that shiny apple. It makes you less credible. It makes you less reliable. People lose their respect for you, ultimately, when you lie because somebody can't trust you now. And when you lose somebody's trust, you've lost them completely. Sometimes it can be redeemed, but most times. So please note that your lies, especially the small, pathetic, trivial lies, they'll ultimately catch up with you. And when they do, you will instantly lose your credibility and your respect. And what happens? People don't trust you. And you lose their respect. And most people will cut you off because of that. If you can lie about something small and trivial, what happens when it's the real important, bigger things in life? And lying is not going to make you interesting either. People think that if they fabricate themselves and make themselves look more triumphant than they really are, that it'll make them interesting. But in fact, it actually does the complete opposite effect. You will look dull and small and uninteresting. And by lying, all you're really doing is showing your own fragility, that the people's opinion of you matters more than it should, that what you think of you matters less than what people actually think of you. And this is not the way to live. Because if you are easily frustrated or easily get defensive about whatever it seems to be, you're easily manipulated as well. So don't be the weak, fragile liar in the room. No one will respect you, people will smell it, and you will definitely not be the memorable, interesting person in the room. Well, I hope you took something away from this. Sometimes it can take people years to deprogram themselves out of the way they can be, but ultimately, if you try and try again, you'll eventually succeed. Anyway, there you have that. My name is Christina Gina, and if you have anything else that you would love to see from me, write it down in the comments below. We might be able to bring you exactly what you need. Toodaloo, honey. Toodaloo. Da-da-da-da-da. Ah, that felt good to get it off the chest.